What's going on out there, friends and family? Thank you so much for tuning into your soul mapping Astral Weather Report for August 6th, 2019. I'm Thomas, and the Astral Weather Report is where I synthesize aspects of astrology and the 64 hologenetic archetypes to give you a better idea of some of the energies that will be at play today, from the genetic all the way on up to the cosmic levels. Well, I did take a day off there for my birthday. It was an amazing birthday, a lot of healing, got some relaxation in, and some much needed rejuvenation with so much activated spiritual energy going on right now, right? It's like literally we are tuning into so many other dimensions and portals and timelines with all this energy in Leo. It's like we can feel this merging of all these different timelines coming together, and like we're navigating through these very powerful spiritual realities, looking for the pieces of how to tune in and bring it all together, and really see how this sort of alignment with this inner heart in this next level reality that's wanting to come into view is taking place. Just because I missed today's report, I want to give a little bit of context, really. Like, on the 6th, we're going to be moving, the sun and the earth are going to be moving on to the 7 and the 13. But for today, we kind of been making this transition, right? Like yesterday, on the 5th, we're kind of transitioning through the 33.6 and the 19.6, and this has really got us to start to be objective when it comes to how all these interdependent pieces are going to come into play, and balancing our sensitivity and codependence in relationships and connections, and also seeing how these new stories are really going to be revealed and come into play. Like, there's so much going on, so much remembrance of who we are and what we're here to do in one way or another, and really starting to look at that objectively and how we can fit all the pieces into this beautiful creative puzzle that is manifesting here at this time. I also want to say, this is such a powerful time that we're all in. There's very much so an opportunity for sort of what could seem like an alien consciousness, almost, in a way, to really be birthing. Like the heightened levels of spiritual potency and Kundalini are so high that it could feel like something really otherworldly is coming into our life. And I just want to say here, I got this very special birthday present here. It was from my mom, but I purchased it from a dear friend of mine, and this here is a legitimate alien artifact, been dated back thousands of years. It's from this very special sacred site in Mexico, and I'm super grateful to be able to carry this energy, and it was so divinely synchronistic as it comes into play, because there really is something very like alien but also divine coming through and birthing in such a beautiful way at this time, this conception of something that's very much so very much so playing a grand part on the cosmic scale. And it can feel kind of like this in our life if we're tapping into that inner child, that it could seem like something foreign and alien coming into view, but also very existential and very awakening in different ways, if we can tap into that courage and the ability to just step forward in our true heart. And it can feel alien because it's like, this inner child has been locked away for so long, and there's so many pieces shedding and coming off, allowing for our true self to really come into play. And this is what can feel alien, because it's like by shedding off these pieces and recollecting and remembering these lost aspects of ourself, it could really seem like something of another world is coming in. And really what it is this sovereignty as it comes in gives us so much power returning, that it just sheds off this veil and this matrix mind of programming and conditioning. In this world that is coming into view can seem very foreign to us, but it's really actually much more pure and much more of a higher and divine cosmic nature. Now, it's interesting because today the moon is going to get into Scorpio, is going to oppose Uranus over there on the 27th. The moon will be on the 28th, and a lot of today can be about this interesting balance, right? Because the sun is moving onto the 7, it's going to be opposing the earth on the 13, and then we're going to have this lunar opposition to Uranus, and this is going to allow us to dive even further and deeper into this like inner underworld. We could be delivered maybe some sort of interesting dark situations or reflections of this consciousness of being able to really, really tap very deeply into our purpose. And these kind of like interesting, like occult realities can come into play where we're tapping into perhaps like some things behind like a sexuality or, really tapping into this deep purpose, this fighter, this game player that we have within, and really learning how to balance really today that portion of ourself that's trying to figure out how to ascend its levels on the material plane and be more selfish and nurturing to different things, but trying to keep that in balance with these interesting unexpected pieces of the puzzle coming in about what our true purpose is and what we're here for, especially with this moon opposition to Uranus too. This could be like interesting sort of psychic epiphanies coming into play, or interesting things bubbling up from the underworld within, and really being able to, perhaps be able to navigate these interesting psychic underworlds, and really keep into balance and play and understanding our purpose and all that, especially the sun being on the 7 and the earth being on the 13. We're also coming into another, trying to figure out balance there between our that inner leader, that inner alpha that we have within, and being able to provide the guidance maybe, but also with the earth on the 13, being able to really deeply intuitively tap into the listener as well, because the highest divine essence of that true alpha leader is one that can feel into his body and really read the signs that are coming in from the environment and witness the people and the situations that are in front of us, and find the balance between that sort of headstrong leader, but really that's being lighted right now. The sun is providing light into how we can lead ourselves and how we can guide ourselves in new ways, but we also need to balance that empathic listener and also the storyteller, really being able to use those stories that we've experienced in our life in one way or another to provide guidance for others. But then we have to balance that, like the listener and the one who's like sharing all the different stories from maybe all these different situations that they've been in, right? Because that's where we get that leader, is these different stories and these different processes that we've been in our life. That's what gives us the wisdom to be able to have that leader within. But when we share wisdom with others, it's also important to sit back and really feel into what aspects of that are important, and also really be able to listen to what the other person needs or what the situation is calling for as well. Now, Mercury is finding its way back through Cancer, is getting close to being into Leo again, and this could feel really good. There's some last bits of the recent eclipses that we've had that we're still mentally reviewing and processing, really looking into what does it all mean as we are getting ready for Mercury to step into Leo. And that's going to be when we get these kind of heralded messages about how this kind of like alien divine child can really step into its own right. And we're still reviewing the last bits of those interesting like emotional interdependent kind of comfort zones. A lot of processing still coming up, especially in the next couple days before we can fully step forward into all this Leo energy. The sun is definitely, we're feeling this divine sort of synchronistic trine of the sun coming into harmony with Jupiter, and this very big powerful fire trine. And then we're going to have Venus following up very closely behind it. Venus is still on the 33, it's on the 33.4, so there's going to be opportunities to really value remembering who we are. We're feeling very much like a value in really being mindful of who we are, how we fit into this puzzle, really nurturing ourselves in that story, and also really stepping into all of this creative fire. And with the sun now moving out of where Venus is, but Venus still on the energy, is like our heart and our connections to feel very like we're still seeing where the value can be in this new story and these new identities that are being revealed, while also really looking forward into how we can lead ourselves. So really trying to find the balance between that connection and the other, and leading forward into our story, our divine purpose. Lastly, I do finally have the cards back, so I'm going to tap into the cards to see what's the overarching energy that we can expect, and what can we tune into to help us navigate and move through some of these powerful times. And we have Gate 35, progress and change. And yeah, I feel like So some interesting new pieces of the adventure can come into play today. Perhaps this sort of, it's good to really tap into that really deep hunger that we have for life. And the 35 is on the other side of the 36 in this 35-36 channel, so it can be like tapping into that deep well of experience that we have, of like very human kind of compassion in this adventure. Not really having any expectation as to where it all goes. Definitely a huge thing coming in right now. Like, if we really tap into following the signs and the synchronicities that the universe is guiding us to, but then checking into our own authority on which direction to go in it all, that's really how the expansion and the progress is going to really happen right now. If we really just get beyond the mind and tap into just releasing to this adventure of life and not having that expectation, really just tapping into the experience and surrendering, there's some very powerful messages that can come into play, and really being able to guide us into a place beyond really abundance, into where we can expand into territories that we never thought possible if we're really listening right now. So hope this has been helpful for you. As always, tap into your innermost authority, see if it feels right for you, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in.